Warrior, come here. Come here. Quickly, come here. Come here. Alright? You gotta be careful. Sit down and watch TV, alright? Alright. Alright. Shalom. Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Bakathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shema Alathun by Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. Alright. Tonight's class is the Brotherhood class. Alright. The Brotherhood class. Let me update. It's the Brotherhood class. Alright. Brotherhood class. Now, brotherhood is very important. Alright? I say this every class. Brotherhood is very important for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Our household, our families, we need to have a foundation of brotherhood when it comes to the so-called black community. When it comes to the Hispanic and Native American community. Alright? So we're Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican, El Salvadorian, Costa Rican, Peruvian, Colombian, Brazilian, Panamanian. You come from Ecuadorian. No matter what it is, from South America, Central America, Mexico, from the Caribbeans, Trinidad, Tobago, all right, Haiti, the Virgin Islands. All right. We need a sense of brotherhood. We need that foundation of brotherhood in our homes, in our household, in our families. This is something that we need. This is something that we have to have. When we don't have actual brotherhood within the community, when we don't actually have a foundation of real brotherhood within our homes and with our houses, our families fail. Our families fall apart. Our community falls apart. Our school systems falls apart. Our economic wealth falls apart. Brotherhood is so important to have in the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Now, if anyone online or in class right now, can anybody tell me what is synonymous and what's equal to brotherhood? All right. What is synonymous and equal to brotherhood? While you guys give me that answer, go ahead and get this set up. That's correct. Correct. Most High in Christ, sisterhood. Brotherhood and sisterhood are synonymous. Alright? Brotherhood and sisterhood, they are synonymous. They are equal to each other. When we're talking about brotherhood, we're also talking about sisterhood. That's also something that needs to be understood. There is no difference between brotherhood and sisterhood. All right, that's another foundation that we need to understand. That's a great foundation to have, to understand that brotherhood and sisterhood, they are synonymous to each other. There is no difference between each other. All right. Now, everybody knows my next question, right? What is brotherhood? Everybody knows my next question. What is brotherhood? Okay. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. Brotherhood is love. Sisterhood is love. That's why I keep saying we need this type of foundation within our households. We need this type of we need the foundation of brotherhood and sisterhood within our household. And it is all going to make sense. It will all make sense once we find out what love is. When I say that our economic wealth fails, right, then you'll truly understand what love is. When I say our school systems fail if we don't have brotherhood, then you'll truly understand what love is. When our sons and daughters keep getting murdered in the street like dogs, then we'll truly understand what love is. Everybody get that? Now my question is, what is love? Okay. Anybody want to take me to my precept? Okay. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. The brother was ahead of me. The brother was ahead of me. Most High in Christ. Anybody else? What is love? Anybody else? Come on, it's the brotherhood class. We all got to answer now. Come on now. Okay, following the laws and commandments of the Most High. Okay, Most High Christ Aqua. That's correct. 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. That's correct. So like I said, correct, as if I'm Salaki. I got the Looney Tunes or something. Salaki. I said correct instead of correct. Salaki about that. 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. Okay, that's correct, sis. That's my precept. So let's bring it to it. Let's go ahead and get it. For this is the love of God, right? I think this is the precept that I think I know by heart. Sometimes with this precept, I don't think I even need to sometimes look at it. Of course, I always go into the Bible not because I don't know the scriptures, right? There are scriptures that I do know by heart, but I always go to the scripture because it's just proof. There's a reason to everything, so you can have the proof right in front of you. This is no longer word of mouth. This is coming from the Bible. And it's proving it is from the Bible. For this is the love of God. 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God. So this is telling you right here in 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. Right? That this is the love of God. Right? Right. Most High in Christ. Exactly. So you remember it by heart. Exactly. There's a point. There's a reason behind everything that I do. There's a reason between everything that the Isupk does. Right? This is going to be in our hearts. You understand that? You ever heard the saying of remember this to remember? I know it by heart. I know it by heart. When you say I know it by heart, is that you saying I know it because my heart keeps beating every second? Like that's why we have to understand when we talk about the heart in the scriptures, when it talks about the heart, it has nothing to do with the actual heart. It's dealing with your mind. That's why we always say I know this by heart, because it's memory. You're remembering. You continually doing it, and that's how you became to remember it so well. Well, the same thing with this truth, the same thing with this Bible. For this is the love of God. This is something that Akwak of a perfect point, right? The Akwak of a perfect point is to remember it by heart. We remember this by heart. For this is the love of God, right? For this is the love of God, meaning this is what God is. This is what God says love is. This is coming from the Lord. This is what love is when it comes to the Most High. This is what love is when it comes to God. This is what love is. Period. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments. It said that we keep His commandments. It didn't say it was a hug. It didn't say it was a kiss. It didn't say we're coming together and holding hands. It didn't say any of that. It said following His laws, His statutes, and His commandments. That's what love is. Alright? That's what love is to keep His commandments. Can anybody give me some commandments? This is the Brotherhood class. I just want you guys to list them. Real quick if you can. There's no sweat because we're going to get into the lesson. Tell me. Give me some laws. Because remember, I said we need this as a foundation, right? I said we need brotherhood as a foundation. Which means I'm saying that we need love as a foundation in our houses. That means if I'm saying we need brotherhood as a foundation in our homes, I'm saying we need love as a foundation in our homes. Right? The reason why our school system is failing because we don't have brotherhood. I'm literally saying our school system is failing because we don't have love. Well, what is love? Well, love is the commandments, right? Meaning it's the law. So our school system is failing because we don't have the what? The law. The reason why our homes are destroyed because we don't have the what? We don't have the law. Our families are being destroyed because we don't have the law. Our economic wealth is being diminished every second, and we're living in poverty, and we're poor in America, even though we have all the money. We have the money. The black community has money. We have the money, but we're still poor, and we're still in poverty. Right? Well, that's because we don't have the law. We make America rich, right? We're the ones that make America rich. We are the working class. So we have money. Money is not the issue. It's because we don't have the law. That's correct, Aqua. Stealing. When we steal from each other. That's not love. That's hatred. And we're destroying each other when we're doing it. When we steal from our brother, we steal from our sister. When we steal from each other, we are destroying the other family. We are destroying that brother. We are destroying that sister by stealing from them. You understand? You are not to take someone else's possession. You are not to take something that's not yours and does not belong to you. That's going to cause strife. That's going to cause hatred among us. The sister said the Sabbath. Right? That's in the law. It's to keep it. Keep the Sabbath. That's your day of rest. Keep it. Do what you like doing. play basketball, play baseball, whatever the case may be. Not commit adultery. Right. Don't sleep with another man's wife. And as a woman, you don't go hard on your husband. Because that's love. That's what love is. That's how you not destroy a family. That's how you not destroy a home. That's how you not destroy a house. If your man gets another woman, you do not destroy your home by leaving it. Every woman in America says, well, they call that woman a home wrecker. Well, you're a home wrecker. You had sex with my husband, so you are a home wrecker. You took my husband from me. Your husband never left you. You left your husband. Your husband didn't leave you. He stayed with you. But you left him when you found out he had another woman. He didn't destroy that house. You destroyed it by leaving it. That's what you did. Well, that's not love, Aqua. And as a brother, you are to keep your wife or wives. You did not destroy that sister by leaving her, and she has no protection. She has no guidance. She has no order over her head. She doesn't know what to do. That's what love is. Right? Not the worship of the gods. That's what love is. That's what love is. A lot of... Like, this is what we have to understand. A lot of brothers and sisters don't know when you serve other gods and when you're serving idols. Sometimes we don't even know that we're worshiping other gods and we don't even realize it. When we're in that Christian church, we are serving another god. When we are in that Muslim mosque, we are serving another god. When we're in that Jewish temple, we are serving another god. When we go into that Egyptology, whatever they call it, we are serving other gods. When you put that rock around your neck and start spraying sage around the damn house, you are serving other gods. You are serving an idol. You believe that rock and that sage is going to protect and save you. That's like me burning frankincense and myrrh, and I think the frankincense and myrrh is going to save me. That's not what's saving me. The Most High is going to save me or protect me. Not the frankincense and myrrh. That's not, everybody understand? Not to eat pork. These are different laws in the Bible. Now I also mentioned that if we don't have love, it could destroy our economic wealth. Well, let me explain. Right, Aqua? Right, that cross and that white Jesus. These are idols and other gods. When I say if we don't have love in the black community, right? When I say we need a foundation of the law in our community, we need a foundation of love and brotherhood in the community, right? I say this purposely, and I said if we don't have these things, right, which I'm saying the same thing, if we don't have love, if we don't have brotherhood or sisterhood, if we don't have the law, I'm saying the same thing, if we don't have that, we can destroy our economic wealth. Now this is a sidebar from the lesson, right? In our law, it tells us how to be wealthy. Did anybody hear that before? Has anyone ever heard that before? That in our law, it teaches us how to keep wealth among us. Has anybody heard that? Khan Allah. Anybody heard that before? Khan Allah. Just wondering. Khan or lie? But yeah, in our law, it teaches us how to be wealthy. It teaches us how to be economically separate from other races and nations of people. It tells us if we serve other gods, then we are not going to be able to hold our wealth to our own. That's what it says in the law as well. When we serve other gods, our land becomes desolate. And we all know in order to make money, anything to make money, anything that generates wealth, everything that we sell and buy, it comes from the earth. It comes from the land. Rubber comes from the earth. Those rubber tires that's made out of rubber, right? Your rubber tires, that thick rubber that they use for wheels on the car, that's found in the earth. There's a little rubber tree. It grows and you take that and literally you produce it and turn it into wealth. Everything that we do in this Bible, right, deals with us being separate from other nations of people and us learning how to keep our wealth among us. That's in the law. That's love. That's brotherhood. But if we go ahead and serve other gods that teach us it's okay, God loves everybody, that's all right. There's no need to be separate. We need to come together. It's all right. It's all right. We need to do this. We need to do that. Then you start to dilute yourself from what God wants you to do. The Most High wanted you to be wealthy but Christian black leaders, right? This is a sidebar. Christian black leaders want you to be in poverty. Christian black leaders in America want you to continue to be poor and not know how to manage your money correctly and how to use your money correctly. There is a correct way to manage and use your money. We do that. We know that, right? But because of us serving other gods, we don't know how to manage our money well. Buying whores is not managing your money well. Buying pornography isn't managing your money well. You understand? You buying Chinese takeout every damn week, Monday through Sunday, is not managing your money well. Does everybody understand what I'm getting at? Everybody understands? Listen, sometimes I'll say it this way. It's deeper than that. Alright? It's deeper than that at times. Sometimes we just scratch the surface when it comes to brotherhood and love and the law. But sometimes we gotta go deeper than that. It's sometimes it gets deep. You probably never thought about it that way. We probably never thought that kind of makes sense. I never thought about it that way. That's crazy, right? You never thought about it that way. Who would have thought buying whores can destroy a nation? Most people would know that. But black people, we don't. Hispanic people, we don't. Native American people, we don't. Being a prostitute destroys a nation. Being a whore destroys a nation. Right? We literally give our money to other gods and our drug habits. This destroys a nation, right? Come on. This destroys a nation. These are the different things that destroy us. These are the different things that continues to put us in poverty, right? And keep us poor. We have to stop serving other gods. We have to stop serving the gods of America. We have to stop serving America more than we serve God. Literally, I say that one more time. We have to stop serving America more than that we serve God. We can't allow that to happen. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we serve America more than we serve God. No thanks to the Christian church. No thanks to black leaders like Martin Luther King. Now we are serving other gods and serving America more than God by smoking weed, getting high, getting heroin, getting crack. This is just a sidebar. Celebrating the 4th of July, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, you name it. Father's Day, all these other days, Labor Day, New Year's, you know what I'm saying? All this other time, all these things, man. This involves money. Right? This is economic. We're talking economic wealth here. Everybody doesn't understand that the law deals with economic wealth and keeping us economically separate from other nations of people and us to be successful and prosperous economically. It talks about that in the law. But we fail to understand what the law is really about. We think the law is just about eating pork. Christians literally don't want to keep the law because they want to keep eating pork. Forget about how to economically separate ourselves and be prosperous, right? and be successful, I'm just not going to keep the law because I don't want to eat pork. The law is more than just not eating pork, Akim. And the law is more than just not eating shrimp, pork, and lobster, Akwakim, and having seafood boils. The law actually teaches us to be successful and prosperous economically. If you want to talk about economics, we can talk about economics in the Bible. That's not an issue. That's not a problem. Not at all. Not in the UPK, it's not. But we have to understand serving other gods that can destroy someone's economic culture. It destroys our economic culture when we serve other gods and celebrate these holidays. We spend thousands of dollars for Christmas. We spend thousands of dollars celebrating, buying all these things for a New Year's party. We spend thousands of dollars time out. Sometimes we spend hundreds of dollars every year for a birthday. Hundreds of dollars just for a birthday. Some brothers and sisters spend $300 a night at the age of 24 and 25 and 28 because it's their birthday. That's terrible management of money. So you're going to come out of the pocket $400 every year for nothing just because you were born that day? It's just another day. It's just another day. What did he do? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that we have to think about. Like I said, it's deeper than that. All right? It's a little deeper than that. All right? But that's just a sidebar. All right? But you guys did that's a Tawab job. You guys listed different laws in the Bible. And, you know, what the Akwaf brought out, too, when she said serving other gods, that's actually one of the biggest laws Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans break. Because there's so many things that we do that's in a worship of another God. All right? Like smoking weed. That's a worship of another God. We just think smoking weed is smoking weed, but that's a worship of another God. It's like things like that. Celebrating Christmas. We think it's just a holiday, but that's a serving another God. There's a lot of things that deal with serving other gods. All right? All right? There's a lot of laws. This is what I wanted to say. There's a lot of laws that are broken because we serve other gods. Serving another God is breaking the law. Then there's it's like a subgroup. Like the main law, right? Let's say for an example, the main law says do not serve other gods, right? But by serving other gods, you will eat pork. By serving other gods, you will be a Christian. By serving other gods, you will eat shrimp and lobster and crab legs. By serving other gods, you will smoke weed. By serving other gods, you will do New Year's. Serving another God. You like things like that. All right? 4th of July, all that. All right? It's like a subgroup. You know? It's like a subgroup. All right? But let's get into it, though. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's get into it. Now, is everybody, all right, can anybody tell me what today's class is about? All right? Anybody tell me what today's class is about? We're going to get to it. We're going to get Ecclesiasticus. All right, we're going to get Ecclesiasticus. We're going to be in the Old Testament, Ecclesiasticus. Right, order. Come, that's true. It's about order. Anybody else? That's the correct answer, by the way. Class is about order. Anybody else? There's a certain order. Okay. The reason why there's always an order to things, right? The Most High is about order. Having order is love in itself. All right? Having order is brotherhood and sisterhood within itself. All right? I want you guys to understand that. All right? Having order is damn near the law. All right? Having order is what helps you keep the law. Being in order and having order helps you keep the law. It helps you keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Having order helps you not to eat pork, not to eat shrimp, not to eat lobster, not to be a homosexual, not to be a lesbian. There's an order in everything that we do. Everything that we do in the Bible. Everything that we do in life. There has to be order. Before we go there, let me get 1 Corinthians, because that's a good point. It's a good point. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Oh, that's crazy to me. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Let all things be done decently. It says let all things, right? Let all things be done. It says let all things be done. Now I'm stopping here or there so we can I'm stopping here or there, okay, for a reason. Because I'm going to break down every single word in this Bible. I'm going to break it down. Alright? Now sometimes we do stop because there's a comma. But in this case there is no punctuation. But I'm slowing it down so things can be understood. I'm breaking things down and I'm slowing it down so everybody can hear what's going to be said in class today. Let all things be done. There's a key word in there. The key word in there is all. It says let all things be done. It didn't say a few. It didn't say some. It didn't say maybe this or maybe that. It said let all things, meaning the way you walk, all things, the way you talk, all things, the way you breathe, all things, the way you speak, all things, the way you look, all things, the way you see, all things, the way you wash, all things, the way you clean, all things, how you eat, all things, what you eat, let all things, right? Let all things, who you have sex with, who you marry, because sex is marriage, right? Let all things be done decently and in order. Right? Now, does anybody know what it means to be decent? First, let's break it down. Does anybody know what it means to be decent? Anybody? Anybody? Does anybody know what decent means? Give me roughly around the ballpark. You don't gotta give me the exact definition if you don't want to. I want you guys to give me at least around the ballpark. Can anybody tell me what it means to be decent? Okay, presentable. Okay. In order and respectful. Okay, Con, I guess those are two good answers. I say it like that because in order and respectful, you're almost, when you say in order, you're using, that's within the scripture. So you don't want to use the same word that's in the scripture. Right? In this case, when I'm asking you what it means. But decent, things decent, it is to keep things in order. In a way, so it's pretty much saying the same thing. All right. Let all things be done. Let all things be done decently and in order. Right. Moral behavior. These are all good answers. Presentable, in order, and respectful. Moral behavior. These are all good things to explain decent. All right. Let all things be done decently. To be decent, you have some form of morality. You have some type of form of integrity. You hold yourself to a standard when you're decent, right? And when you say someone is decent, that means they present themselves a certain way. You just don't call anyone decent. When you say you're decent, right? When you say that you're decent, you hold yourself accountable to things. You hold yourself to a standard. You dress a certain way. You walk a certain way. You talk a certain way. Because that's what makes you decent. That's what makes you have some form of morality. That's what makes you have some form of integrity. Because this is the definition of, these are part of words that are used in the definition of decent. Right? So let all things be done decently. Meaning let all things be done with morality and integrity. Let things be done right. Let things be done a certain way. So it can be done decently, meaning good. Right? And this is, let things be done good. Properly. Right? Let all things be done decently. Let things be done properly. Let it be good. I'm saying all the same thing. I haven't said anything different. Alright? And in order. So the Lord goes on to say, and in order. The Lord has always dealt with order. Within 1 Corinthians chapter 14, where at verse 40, it says, and in order. The Lord has, in everything that the Lord does, it was always done decently and in order. Anything that the Lord wants us to do is always going to be decently and in order. Everybody understands? Order is something very important in Israel. Order is something very important when it comes to the Lord. Order is everything when it comes to building the kingdom of heaven. Order is everything when it comes to building the black community and fixing the black community and building the Latino community and building the Hispanic community and building the Native American community and taking our people and fixing our people on the reservations. It takes order. It has to be order. There's no order to everything. There has to be. If you have no order, then you have what? What's the opposite of order? When you get that, let's go back to we're going to go back to Ecclesiasticus chapter 32. That's in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus, verse 32. Chapter 32. It's in the Apocrypha, which is in the King James Bible. All right, translation. God, chaos. That's correct. That is the correct answer. That is a spot on correct answer. If you do not have order, then you'll have chaos. You'll have disruption. When we don't have order, when you do not have order, you have chaos. Chaos is your 16-year-old son being murdered because he wanted to wear a certain color. Because he wanted to rep a certain block. Because he wanted to rep a certain city. Because he wanted to rep a certain town. You understand? Whatever the case may be. Your daughter is now prostituting herself because there's chaos. Right? There's chaos. Because there are men out there that indulge in buying sex and paying money for sex. That's chaotic. Now your daughter is one of those whores that some of these men buy. And now your daughter suffers every day and night because she has more than 10 to 15 men going inside of her a night. That's chaos. That's what happens when you don't have order. That's what happens when you don't have order. You have constant stealing. You have constant theft in the black, Latino, and Native American community. And we're constantly stealing from each other. And we have stolen goods, breaking into houses, in apartments, and in complexes. And we're losing our belongings for what? So you can sell those belongings and make some money, and then use that money to buy weed, or to buy some coke, or buy some crack to push into the community, and then destroy more families. That's called chaos. That's chaotic. There's no order there, right? That is chaotic. Alright? That is absolutely chaotic. Alright? So everything has to be, there has to be order. Order is everything. Alright? Let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 32. Let's get Ecclesiasticus. Alright? Let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 32. It's in the Apocrypha. There has to be order in everything that we do. The way we talk, the way we walk, the way we speak. How we conduct ourselves. That's what I'm looking for. How we conduct ourselves. There is a way that we are to conduct ourselves around each other. If we conducted ourselves properly amongst each other, there wouldn't be any issues the way it is in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. And we're going to get it right now. We're going to get it right now. I want to start at verse 8. Okay, we're going to start at verse 8. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 verse 8. It says, let thy speech be short. It says, let thy speech be short. Now, does anybody know why the Lord is saying, let thy speech be short? It says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. It says, let thy speech be short. So to give you a backdrop, right? I'm going to give you guys a backdrop so you guys understand. This Ecclesiasticus 32 is talking about how to conduct yourselves among great men, among men that have power, among men that have authority over you. How to conduct yourselves among men that are over you. There's a certain way you are to conduct yourself. There's a certain way that you are to say certain things. All right? There's always a certain way. All right? There's always a certain way. So it says, all right? The Lord said, let thy speech be short. When the Lord says, let thy speech be short, it means when you are around, the Lord is going to further explain. But let thy speech be short. Meaning, there's no need to talk too much. There's no need to talk a lot. Comprehending much in few words. Meaning, let thy speech be short. Meaning, be concise. Comprehending much in few words. Meaning, say what you have to say. Concisely. Right? That's something that's big when it comes to order. Alright? When it comes to order, alright? When it comes to order, the way we speak to each other and the way we conduct ourselves to each other is very big. That's why a lot of arguments start. That's why a lot of killings and shootings happen in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, because we don't know how to answer each other. Sometimes we don't even know how to question each other. There is a way that you are to speak to people. Not just brothers that have rank, not just brothers that have authority, not just men that have power, but any man or any woman or any child. There is a way we are to speak to each other. Right? There is a way, and it's called in order. There's an order to things. It says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Meaning, be concise. Say what you have to say, but be concise. There's no need for a paragraph every time. There's no need for a hey story every time. It's this, that, done. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue. Meaning be the one that does have the knowledge and the wisdom. Be the one like, yes. Like, okay, yes, you know this. Right? Yes, you know how to do this. Right? You know how to do everything that's being said to you. All you have to do is what? All you have to do is hold your tongue. Yes, you know how to do this. Yes, you know how to do that. Yes, but just hold your tongue. All you have to say is con on con. All you have to say is con, sir. All you have to say is con. You know, it says be as one that knoweth. Meaning be one that knows something. You know what to do. You know how to do things. You know the law. You know what God says. You know this. You know that. You know the things that you were taught. And yet, hold your tongue. Hold your tongue. There is a way to speak to each other. There is a way to conduct ourselves in certain situations. Now, is the Lord telling you every time to let that speech be short? No. Is the Most High saying because you know something you have to hold your tongue? No. But knowing the situation and knowing what's going on, you are to be like, you know what? Kind of this and that. Hold your tongue. And that could be in any situation. That doesn't have to be just to a brother. Even though in context, this is talking about two brothers that are men in a position of authority and power. Right? That have some type of authority. Right? But you can use this anyway. You can use this with your wife, use it with your sister, you can use this with your brother, your father, your mother, right? You can use this anywhere. Because the Lord is teaching us how to conduct ourselves in certain situations. Let's go to verse 9. Verse 9 is the kicker right here. If thou be among great men, it says among great men. Does anybody know what it means to be, if you're, what is a great man? It says great men. What's the definition of a great man? Anybody know? What does it mean if thou be among great men? Who are the great men? What are great men? That's my question, I should say. What are great men? Anybody? Anybody know? Anybody want to give it a shot? Okay, men of the Lord. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, not exactly men of the Lord though. Not exactly the ISUPK. That's not much of the answer. What are great men? Even though there are great men in the ISUPK, there are definitely great men in the ISUPK, but that's not what it is. Warrior, go sit down, Boo Kusha.
No, I'm not to plant dirt down.
Priests and prophets. Priests and prophets could be could be defined as great men. Right? It could be defined as great men. It could be. But what makes them great? Well, okay. I may have said this maybe once or twice in yesterday's class, but I don't know. If you guys remember. If you guys were in yesterday's class, I may have said this. I may have said what? Great men. Men of authority. God. Okay. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Ayan Pakwak, Chubayan, you're there. You're there. You're pretty much there. I'll take that as an answer. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Anybody else? That's very true. Right. Men of authority. So great men, meaning you have a stature, right? Like there's a stature that you have, right? When you are among great men, you are around men that have authority. You are around men that have some type of power, right? They're great. They're up there. You ever heard like when within a title, you probably heard like in a title, such and such the great, such and such the whatever, right? To be called great is because you have some form of position that makes you great. You are in a position of authority. That's why when the Aqua said priests and prophets, they could be great men. But what specifically would make them great? Because the Lord gave them a position of authority. That would be the answer. That's what makes them great. So the Lord says, if thou be among great men, meaning you're among men that are great, that have some form of authority, some form of power, right? This would be considered like an elder, right? Like that's what it would be, like an elder. You would be great. You would be classified among great men, right? Because as an elder, as someone that's great, you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have understanding. You've been through life. You know what to do. You know how to do things, right? The Lord set things up in order purposely for this very thing. We had judges in Israel. We had elders in Israel. Why? Because you needed a people to judge situations, right? You need a third party. And so you need a third party that's completely not biased. You need that. That's why the Lord set it up. That's why there's judges on earth. So there could be a third party that can rectify on what's best for the both of y'all. And how to handle this situation the right way so nobody kills each other. You need that third party. That's why the Lord set it up. You need that counsel. That's why the Lord set it up. That's why the Lord said, let all things be done in order. Decently and in order. The Lord set these things up purposely. The Lord set up elders, right? The Lord set up great men and priests and prophets of the Lord. So they can teach you. So they can guide you. So they can tell you what's right and what's wrong and what to do and what not to do. Because they've been through it. They know exactly what not to do. And they know exactly what to do. But if you don't listen, and you're hard-headed, and you're so goddamn stiff-necked, and you close your damn ears, then yes, you're going to pay the consequence for not listening. Yeah, you took out a huge loan, it's hard to pay back. Only if you spoke to a brother and some elder or someone that was great, they would have been able to tell you, nah, brother, you shouldn't have done that. You should have probably went this route. Because they've been through it before. The Lord set things up in order purposely. There's a reason why children become adults and adults become even older and whatever the life cycle may be. You ever heard the saying, you live and you learn? Right? When you live and you learn. It doesn't always have to be like that. Someone already learned for you. Now all you have to do is live. You don't always have to learn the hard way. Because, that's what the live and the learn saying is really about. That you're learning the hard way. You're never learning the good way when you say you live and you learn. You already made the mistake and you got to learn from it. It doesn't always have to be like that. You can just easily shut your mouth and be quiet and let that speech be short and be concise and hold your tongue when needed And maybe you don't have to live your life with mistakes. Just maybe. It's just I'm just giving neighborhood friendly advice. That's all I'm giving. And it's coming from the Lord. That's all I'm saying. Just maybe you wouldn't have to live your life with so many mistakes. Only the Lord says, let the aged woman likewise. The Lord says the aged woman likewise in the Bible. Right? The older women, their responsibility was to teach daughters to be women, to be wives. To how to take care of their husbands, how to take care of men, how to talk to men, right? How to be a sister, how to be a mother, how to be a true daughter of Zion. That was the responsibility of elder women. The aged women likewise. There's a reason why women today may not know how to take care of a man or know how to talk to a man. That's why they don't know how to keep a man. Because the women before them failed to teach them what it means to be a woman, and how to be a woman, and how to be a mother, and how to be a sister. It's a foreign concept in the black community now. But the Lord set things up for a reason, so we know how to conduct ourselves properly. All right. Alright, here we go. Let's continue. If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. The Lord said, let not. Make not thyself equal with them. The Lord never dealt with equality in anything. All right. The Lord never dealt with equality in anything that we do. Never. There is no such thing as equality. No such thing. Equality does not exist. Right? It does not. No one is ever going to be equal to each other. It is just not going to happen. It will never happen. It would not make sense if it did. The Lord said, make not thyself equal with them. You are not equal to a man that comes before you. That can't be possible. How can you be equal to a man that has come before you? If this man is great, these men with a position of authority, that have knowledge, that have wisdom, you are not to make yourself equal with them. You're nothing but a baby. You're nothing but a child. You were just learning. You just got here. You just stepped on the field. This is your first time batting in the cages. How are you equal? How are you equal to Derek Jeter? And you just started minor league. Does that make sense to anyone? So you're telling me you're better than Carlos Beltran, but you just got on the field. You just got here. You think you're the best pitcher in the world. You can get on that mound and throw a 90-mile-per-hour baseball. But you think because you can throw it 90 miles per hour, you can strike somebody out better than CC Sabathia? You just got here. How about you shut your mouth and be quiet and listen and learn from CC Sabathia and learn how you can strike somebody out? Everybody understands? How about you listen to Dave Ortiz? Alright? Now I'm using examples from baseball. Okay? If you don't know baseball, I can use other examples if you would like. Alright? But you are not equal. That's like me. That's like me. Let's say, that's like me coming on the dance floor. And I can moonwalk, but I say I'm better than Michael, and I can do things better than Mike. Michael's been doing this since the 60s. And I just got here in 2010. and I can just moonwalk once or twice, and I think I'm better than him, and I think I'm equal to him now. You understand? Everybody get the point? There's no such thing as equality. You are to give honor to the men above you. You are to respect rank and order, because that's having order. There is a way you are to conduct yourselves amongst each other and with each other. There's a way to do it. It's always been like that. And we do it in the ISUPK all the time. If you are in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, right, we have order. We do not make ourselves equal to Commanding General Yohana or General Mahaiman or any of the generals and captains and officers above us. We say Khan and Khan. We say Khan Adawan. Yes, they're still my brother. Yes, but I still say Adawan. I still say Khan and Khan. You understand? That's what I do. That's what we do in the ISUPK. Commanding General Yohana, yes, he's my brother. General Mahaiman, yes, he is my brother. And I love him as my brother so much, I say Khan and Khan. Make sense? Am I making sense? Because I know I'm not equal to them. I learn from them. I ask them questions. You understand? I learn from them to make sure one day I can be just like them. So I can be a great man just like them. Everybody understands? Kind of lie. Let's continue reading. And when ancient men are in place, it says when ancient men are in place, right? Meaning these are men that have years under their belt. That's when it says ancient, right? Ancient means what? Anybody know what ancient means? Does anybody know when we say if something is ancient, on what it means? When it says ancient, and when ancient men are in place, when it talks about being ancient, it means you have many years, right? You have some years under your belt, like I said. If you look up the definition of ancient, it will literally mean many years. That's the definition of ancient. Many years. Salaki. So you have some years under your belt. And when ancient men are in place, so when there's men that have many years among you, when you're around men that have some years under the belt in this truth, when you're around men that have some years in the ISUPK, you know what I'm saying? They ain't rookies, right? They've been through Hebrew Academy. They've been through the fire. They've been through some check-ins. They've been through there. And listen, we still going through it. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because we still need some more years under our belt. You understand? As long as the Lord allows, we hope for more many years under our belt. Right? And when ancient men are in place, meaning these men that have some years, they have some years under their belt. They're here. They're around you. You are among them. It says, use not many words. Right? Use not many words. Why not? Why do you think the Lord said, when you're around great men and ancient men, don't make yourself equal to them and do not use too many words? What's the spirit behind what the Lord is trying to say? Anybody want to give it a shot? Why did the Lord tell us to do this? There's a reason behind it. Anybody want to guess the reason behind the Lord said why? Anybody? What's the spirit behind it? Don't make ourselves equal to great men. And don't say too much. Keep thy words few. Why? Why? Okay. You can learn something. Okay. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Anybody else want to give it a shot? Why do you think the Lord said, what's the Spirit behind the Lord saying? Do not make yourself equal to these men. Nor, right? I'm paraphrasing. Nor say too many words. Okay, the Aqua said you can learn something. Anybody else? Anybody else? La, don't want to give it a shot. Okay, no sweat. The Aquaf is pretty much spot on. You can learn something. One of my favorite lines I always love to say. If you're not careful, well, I used to say it this way. If you ain't careful, you might just learn something. I say that all the time. If you ain't careful, you might just learn something. Now, the reason why I say this is because I heard my grandfather say this all the time. Right? Now, growing up, I was raised by my grandfather. So I have a very old school mindset. I was raised by my grandfather. I was raised by my grandmother. They're pretty much my father and my mother. Right? And they raised me since I was a little boy. I was always around them. Always. Taking me places, living in their house, had my own room, and all these other stuff. And all the time, my grandfather would say, he would call my name, and he said, now you listen here. If you ain't careful, you might just learn something. He was telling me to be quiet. You understand? Everyone understands that? When he said that, he was telling me to shut my mouth. That's what he was trying to say. He didn't tell me to shut my mouth. He didn't tell me to be quiet. Even though there had been times he got straight to the point and said, now you be quiet. There's no need for you to talk no more. There have been times like that. But sometimes he would just say, if you ain't careful, you might just learn something. Meaning for me to be quiet and allow me to use my other senses besides my mouth. Allow me to use my other body parts other than my mouth. That's what he was saying to me. Well, that's what the Lord is saying to us. How about we start stop using our mouth so much, and how about we use our ears a little, and our eyes? You're among great men. You're among Salakia. You're among ancient men. You will learn something if you be quiet. You just standing in the room, being quiet and just observing and listening, you'll learn something new. And no one could be directly talking to you. You understand? That's how great it is. Just to be quiet. And not to use so many words. And not to make yourself equal. It said, like when it comes down to it, when you make yourself equal to someone, you stop listening to them. Everybody understands that? You are not to make yourself equal to anyone because that stops you from listening to them. That's the spirit behind it too. When you make yourself equal to anyone or to anything, you do not listen to it. You do not listen to them. Give me an example of someone making themselves equal to something or somebody. Give me a practical example of you, not of you, of any situation, right? of making something, you made yourself equal, or someone making themselves equal, and then they end up not listening. Can anyone give me a practical example? Someone can give me an example. Anybody? Anybody want to give me a practical example? Also, we're going to be in Job chapter 32. And we're going to start at verse 2. Someone give me a practical example. Okay. Okay, 2 hustle. All right. Anybody have a practical example? I guess I can take that as a practical example. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else? Oh, give me a practical example of someone making themselves equal to something or someone, and the result is them not listening. Give me a practical example of that. 2 hustlers in the street, right? 2 hustles. All right. Like I said, car. That could be an example. That could be practical. Give me anybody else. Give me a practical example. Yes, Princess.
Look what I made. Isn't that awesome? Spiky.
I see, Princess.
Spiky. Don't be careful with this. I found that.
Go sit down for me, boy.
It's spiky.
They end up going against each other. All right.
Come on. Okay. Come on. Watch TV. Watch TV. Watch TV. So this is
Someone who's starting a job and think they know more than the supervisor and mess up. Okay? All right, that's a good practical example. All right. Okay, that's a good example. These are all good examples. What about when you're a teenager and you think you know everything? That could be a practical example, right? Because you made yourself equal to your father. You made yourself equal to your mother. And because of so, now you think you've grown. Now you think now you know every damn thing. You've been through life. Even though you've been home, eating for free and you're homeless. You don't own a goddamn thing. But you sure as hell know everything, right? Right? Because you think you equal now. You think you start to get hair under your chin. And you got some hair under your chin now, some hair in your chest, and you think you something now. You know what I'm saying? My pops used to say it to me all the time. You got some hair under your chin now and some hair in your chest, you think you know something. You think you're good now, huh? He said it to me all the time. All the time. Put me right back in my place. You know what I'm saying? Right. End up getting pregnant at an early age. You think you good now, you know a little thing? You know, you finally got some breasts, your figure is starting to come out. You know, you've been using whatever the hell may be the case, you know. Now you think you grown. You know. Well, I have a cycle now, and I got breasts and a figure and all this stuff and all this. Now you think you grown. Now you think you know every goddamn thing, and once again, you haven't paid a bill in your goddamn life. Just hot in the rear end, right? Hot in the rear end out there, thinking you know every damn thing. Then you bring a child bringing back a child to your house. To your house. Not their house. but your house. But she thought she knew everything because she made herself equal to you. Now, of course, in reality, if you don't nip that in the bud, you allowed him or her to make themselves equal to you. There is a way to stop a brother or a sister or a child from being equal to you. How do you do it? You tell them to shut their mouth and you correct them. That's how you do it. That's how we do it in the UBK. If you think you know every goddamn thing, what's going to tell you is shut your mouth and be quiet. That's all we're going to do. And we're going to correct you and and we're going to explain to you why this is incorrect and why you shouldn't do it. Out of love. We say this out of love, brother. We say this out of love, sister. Shut your mouth and listen. And just say Kana Wakai. We know what we're talking about here. Alright? We know what we're talking about here. We know. Because we've been through it. We lived it. We got some years under our belt. You understand? We got some years under our belt. So we know. When I'm among great men, when I'm among ancient men, when I'm among the generals and captains, I shut my mouth. I shut my mouth and I be quiet. I don't know everything. You know, officer, I'm just 1,000. I don't know. Shh. I like you. I just know what I've been taught. I just know what I've been taught. And then I go to the captains and generals and tell them what I see. Then they explain to me why these things are happening on what I see. I don't voyage up my own opinion. I want to get the Lord's opinion. You understand? Now, with that being said, there's an order to everything. But now let's get Job chapter 32. There's an order to everything. Right? Let's get the other half. Job chapter 32, we're going to start at verse 1. Let's see. Job chapter 32, verse 2. Well, I'm going to start at verse 1. Job chapter 32, verse 1. So these three men ceased to answer Job. So there were three men, and they were talking to Job. Right? But Job, they were talking, these three men ceased to answer Job. Because Job and these three men, they were communicating, right? Because he was righteous in his own eyes. So at this time, Job made himself righteous in his own eyes. Meaning he was righteous in his own way. There is no such thing as being righteous your own way. Right? There's only one way to be righteous. There is only one way to be righteous. It's to serve God. That's the only way to be righteous. You're not righteous by giving to the poor. You're not righteous by donating to charities. Right? No, you're righteous by serving the Lord. All right. Verse 2. Then was kindled the wrath. Now also Salakia, if I may add. No one saying to anyone not to give to the poor. No one saying that. All right. No one's saying that, because the Lord is very big on His own people giving to the poor of their own people, of the Lord's people. So the Lord is big on giving to the poor and making sure the poor is taken care of. The Lord is all about that. But you have to do it the Lord's way and not your own way. And not the so-called white man's way. You're donating to these charities and they're just taking your money. You're giving this man this $5 because he asked for it, because he said it was for a sandwich when it's not. You just got him high for the day. Congratulations. You gotta learn what to do when it comes to fixing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Not just giving $5 to every brother and sister you see that claim to be homeless and they're homeless. It's not the way to do it. There's a saying that people say. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man how to fish, he'll never go hungry. Take that into consideration when it comes to fixing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Giving black people money because they're homeless and poor isn't what's going to fix them. We're not saying not to do it, but that's not what's overall going to fix our people. All we're doing is giving them fish. That's all we're doing is giving them fish instead of teaching them how to fish. Everybody understands? That's just a sidebar. Alright? Verse 2. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barakel, the Burzite, of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled. So Elihu, Elihu, this brother, was angry at Job. And here's why. Against Job was his wrath kindled. Because, now here's why. This is why Elihu was angry. This is why Elihu had wrath against Job. Because he justified himself rather than God. So this is why. Elihu was angry with Job because he justified himself than justifying the Lord. He justified the things that he did just for himself instead of justifying it because it's of the Lord. Like we do in the UPK all the time. We never justify things on our own, right? We tell you everything is of the Lord. Everything. We make sure we give the Lord his credit. It's not us. Who are we? Anybody understand where I'm coming from with that? Who are we? Right? Who are we? You think we're doing this of our own? No, we're doing this because of the Lord. Go ahead, Princess. I understand. Sit down for the vocal shot. Dad's in class, all right?
Okay.
You mean yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
No sweat. Now, when it comes down to it, right? When it comes down to it, we think that we're just, we make sure we give the Lord his due, right? His credit. We never justify ourselves, but we justify everything because the Lord said it and did it and wants us to do it. Alright? So Elihu, he was angry at Job. His wrath was kindled against Job because he justified himself rather than God. He justified himself, meaning he gave a reasoning. Right? He gave a reasoning. Salakia. I want to use the word prove here, Salakia. Not so much reasoning. Even though it does deal with reason, but I also want to use the word prove. Because he justified himself rather than God. Verse 3. Also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. So now he was angry with everybody because things were nothing was being done right. Like they yet had to condemn Job on what he was talking about and what he was saying. So now he's also angry with Job's friend, with the friends. Verse 4. Now Elihu. Now here we go. Now this is why I got this. This is something very important to understand. In Job 32, you're about to understand the essence of order. You're about to understand the essence of one west. Right here in the Bible, this is one west. In verse 4 and down. Right? This is really going to open some eyes and maybe open up some ears. Because this right here is one west. This right here is how to deal with certain situations properly by doing things in order. And here we go. Salakia. Also, it's like in verse 4. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. It said, now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken. So Elihu, he waited until Job was done speaking. He waited for Job to finish his sentence, because they were elder than he, because of the simple fact that they outranked Elihu, even though they were friends. They were friends. It says in verse 3 they were friends, but he still had order, because the Lord didn't deal with equality. If you want to be a real friend to anyone, have some goddamn order like Elihu. You understand? If you want to be a friend, a real friend to a brother in this school, and be a real friend to a brother and a sister in One West, in the Isupk, have some order like Elihu and Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because, here's the reason, they were elder than he. So because Job was elder than Elihu, he kept his mouth closed and waited. Because his friends were elder than he shut his mouth and waited. He shut his mouth and waited on the simple fact of because they were elder than him. That's order. Now that's love. Now that's real love right there. That's order. You were able to hold your tongue even though you were angry. Even though you were angry and your wrath was kindled against one of your friends. You were angry. You were angry with them. For whatever the reason it was, you were angry with your friends. It says it right here. They were friends. And then Job. Right? And Job. Right? Even though Elihu was angry with these brothers, his wrath was kindled against them. He still shut his mouth. And he kept quiet and waited to speak off the simple fact that they had more rank than him, because they were elder than him. Let's keep going. Salaki warrior, cut that up. Now when it comes down to it, now let's go to verse 5. Verse 5. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. So once again, once Elihu saw, when Elihu saw that there was no answer from these brothers concerning Job, right? His wrath continued to kindle. It kindled, right? Then his wrath was kindled. Now let's go to verse 5. Now here we go. Let's go to verse 5. Verse 6. Job chapter 32 verse 6. And Elihu, the son of Rakel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young. So Elihu said right off the rip, I am young. He made sure, he stated his rank. He wanted to make sure that it was known that, hey, I am a young man. I am just an officer of 50. I am just an officer of 500. I am just an officer of 1,000. Right? I'm just an officer. Right? I'm just a captain talking to a general. I'm just an officer talking to a captain. You understand? Like he stated his rank. I am young, and ye are very old. Meaning you guys are above me. You guys have more rank than me. You guys have more years under your belt than me. You understand? So he's giving them, letting them know, like, yes, I know there's a difference between us two. I'm young, and I may not know as much as you. And I don't have as many years as you. Right? This is Elihu talking. Elihu is saying to Job, I may not be older than you. I may not have many years as you. And I may not know as much as you. I am young, and ye are very old. He stated his rank and he stated theirs. To let everybody know I understand where my place is, and I do understand order. And that's why it says in verse 4, he waited to speak, because Elihu knew his place. Elihu knew about order. Elihu understood what it meant to be among great men, to be among ancient men. Understood? Elihu understood that. I am young, and ye are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not show you my opinion. So here we go. So this is what he said. Wherefore I was afraid. He said, I was afraid, and durst not. Anybody know what it means to durst? Anybody know what it means to durst? This is old. It's a little bit of old English here. To durst. Anybody know what it means to durst? Not dust, but durst. It says, I was afraid and durst not show you my opinion. Does anybody know what durst means? Durst meaning dare. He said, I dared not and dared not to show you my opinion. Wherefore I was afraid and dared not to show you my opinion, because I understood that there was rank. I understood order. So I held back, and I dared not to show you my opinion. Verse 7, I said days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. Right? So it says, verse 7, I said days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. Meaning, right? The ones that should be teaching mean the one that has knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The ones that truly know what the hell they're talking about. That's who should be teaching. Right? That's who should be teaching. The days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. Verse 8. But there is a spirit in man. Right? But here we go. But instead, this is Elihu talking. Right? Verse 8. But, meaning rather, there is a spirit in man. Meaning there is a spirit that's in a man. There's a spirit that's in a man. What is the spirit that Elihu is talking about? Let's find out. And the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. So there's a spirit in man. And the inspiration of the Almighty giving them understanding. That spirit in verse 8 is talking about the Spirit of the Lord. There is the Spirit of the Lord that the Lord gives you, so you have understanding. So you do have wisdom. Verse 9. Here's why. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Here we go. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of it right here. Here we go. It says, great men are not always wise. Meaning, not all men that have power, and not all men that have authority, they're not always wise. There are some men, right, That it said, neither do the aged understand judgment. Meaning, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your title is. That doesn't make you wise. That doesn't make you have understanding. That's not what makes you have wisdom. It's the spirit that the Lord gives you is what gives you wisdom. It's the spirit of the Lord is what gives you the understanding that you need to understand judgment and to be wise. That's what it is. Alright? But Elihu understood that. And because he understood that, therefore, so to go verse 10. And because he understood that, therefore I said, hearken to me. I also will show my opinion. Now, it said, behold. So like, therefore I said, hearken to me. I also will show my opinion. This entire time, before Elihu said anything, there was an order to everything that he did. First, he closed his mouth and he listened because he understood rank. He understood order. He understood position of authority. Then, once there was an opportunity for him to speak, that's when he spoke, and he did it in order. He stated his rank, and then stated theirs, to let you know that there is no usurping authority here. There is no out of order here. I know my place and I know where I stand. Out of sincere, right? I didn't dare to give you my opinion. But because I seen something wrong, and I seen that you did not justify God, but you justified yourself, I have to say something. This is the Spirit of the Lord. This is the Spirit of the Most High when it comes to having order amongst each other. We always gave honor to brothers and sisters that were older than us. We always gave honor and respect to brothers that were great and ancient among us. And we knew how to conduct ourselves to men greater and ancient than us. Well, in the Isupk, we do the very same thing. In this school, in the Isupk, in 1 West, we do the very same thing. We conduct ourselves properly. We do everything. We do all things in order. That's what we do. And we will continue to do it. Just like Elihu. Just like Elihu, we are going to stay in order and keep the order in how to talk to brothers that outrank us. How to talk to brothers in a position of authority over us. To great men over us. Ancient men that are over us. But we're not just going to, we're going to do it. We're going to do it the way the Lord wants us to do it. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. Understand your rank. Understand your authority. Understand the place that you're in. Understand that. Have that wisdom. Have that knowledge. If you see a brother that outranks you and he's doing something wrong, just because he outranks you, does that mean you can't tell him he's doing something wrong? No, be like Elihu and wait for the opportunity to tell that brother in a righteous and in order way, just like Elihu. He waited for his time. Then he gave his opinion. But his opinion was of the Lord. That's what it has to be. It has to be of the Lord. It can't just be of what you think is wrong. It has to be on what the Lord says is wrong. So if you see your brother doing something that's not right, that doesn't seem godly to you, and he could be an officer above you, a captain above you, a general, whatever the case may be, just go to that brother. All you have to do is go to that brother. The Lord says, go to ye and your brother alone. That's in the Bible. That's in the scriptures, right? Just go to the brother and be like, Salakia, sir. By you saying Salakia Adawan, that's what Elihu did. You understand that? When Elihu said, I am young, that was equivalent to Salakia, sir. Everybody understands that? Khan Allah. Khan Allah. Well, I hope everybody understands where I'm coming from with this. The moment Elihu said, I am young, and ye are very old, in verse 4. When Elihu said that, it's like you're not in verse 4. It's like you're not in verse 4. In verse 6. In verse 6, when Elihu said, I am young, and ye are very old, that was equivalent to you saying, Salakia, sir, then you say your piece. Everybody understands? Khan or La? Let me know. Anybody still paying attention to favors? Everybody understand? Khan or La? Khan, Most High in Christ. All right. Anybody have any questions? Most High in Christ. Khan. Okay, Most High in Christ. Any questions, anyone? Kala. All right. All right. If there's no questions, all right. So with that, if there's no questions, I say shalom. All right. Remember, the Feast of First Fruits is coming up. It's around the corner. All right. The closing is around the corner. All right. We're going to get to it. I believe the closing is in June. If I'm not mistaken, the closing is in June. I'm gonna get that taken care of. All right. The closing is in June. All right. But with that, with the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group or neither Christian organization. With that, Amayim, which means to stand. Alright. Amayim, which means to stand. We're going to give a courteous salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amayim Shabbat. Amayim. Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua B'Katham. Yanamatah. Saw La'avakim, which means turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel. We're going to give a courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amayim Shabbat. Amayim. Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba'ashim Yahushua. Yanamatah. With that, class dismissed.